Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson. If you've been watching TV lately, you may have seen a commercial for Subaru, which portrays a person who's blind, showing people and giving them a new experience of seeing things a little bit differently. His name is George Wurtzel, and he's here in the Blind Abilities studios right now. How are you doing, George?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm not quite ready yet, Jeff. I'm here with the makeup people and trying to get my hair right for this, and they want me to change shirts. They don't like the shirt I'm wearing yet here this morning. Just a minute here. Let me get my... Okay, yeah, okay. No, I don't like the hairspray. No. Oh, geez, they always put hairspray on me. Jeff, I can't stand the hairspray, you know? But am I looking good now, Jeff?
Perfect.
Do you like the shirt?
That shirt is the perfect podcasting shirt, George.
Oh, good. I'm ready to go now, Jeff. What would you like to know from?
All right. The Subaru commercial just came out. Great job, George. And you portray, well, you are the person who's blind in there, but it has a pretty good message and portrayal of the blind.
Yeah.
Does this map show the Peninsula Trail?
Man interrupts.
Peninsula Trail. You won't find that on a map.
He's blind.
I'll take you there.
The couple looks doubtful but follows him to their Subaru. He directs them along the trail and asks,
You hungry? Me too. Take this left.
They pull into an old diner.
Now don't eat just yet.
They sit at the counter, savoring the smells from the grill. Continuing on, they arrive at the ocean and walk to the cliffs.
Feel the wind? If you listen real hard, you can hear the whales.
They listen. Back in their Subaru, they pass a beautiful lake.
This is my favorite part of the forest.
They stop the Subaru, get out, and follow the man through tall trees in the moonlight.
Just listen.
The couple smiles,
Hear that?
appreciating the journey.
Our Subaru Outback lets us see the world. Sometimes in ways we never imagined.
They drive away, satisfied in their Subaru.
Jeff, for you who've known me a long time and other people who have witnessed my passion for getting the politics right about talking about disability or whatever the current buzzword is for the people who don't have all of the same abilities, or abilities isn't even the right word, don't have all of the same faculties that other people have. Know that I'm not hung up really on the people first thing as much as I am, is that chance first is where I look at it from, and not sensationalizing. I mean, I hate when people continually use the word amazing. I hate when people continually use the word inspirational because they become so overused that their value goes away.
Mm-hmm.
As you have probably been involved in different things, and other blind people and people with hearing loss and people missing limbs know that lots of times when people ask you, will you do an interview, or will you be part of an ad, or can I write an article about you, we all cringe. And so when they talked to me about doing this ad, I went into it pretty much as a skeptic. I mean, I was right up front with them, and I told them, well, show me what you have first and then I'll decide. That's a different approach than they have with a lot of people who want to come and do like a car ad or anything, because those people say, just tell me what you want to do and pay me the money. I was more than willing to forego the money if the ad did not put a positive spin on people being blind. And for people who have watched this ad, you'll see that the fact that I am blind is about as normal of a encounter as one could possibly have with meeting anybody in the world. And that part of it I really, really, really like.
I really like that too, especially when I was listening to it, I said, that's just George. That's just you.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm the only non-professional person in this ad. Everybody else who's involved in the making of the ad, the other two people, the couple who drive the car and everything, that's what they do for a living. Carrie, the young lady who's in the ad, someone told me that she'd done like 200 ads, television ads. I mean, that's what she does for a living. So she'll do whatever they want them to do. Look this way, look that way, jump on your head, whatever it is. I mean, send me the check. And I was not interested in that part of it. I wanted to make sure that we, as blind people, were represented as everyday, normal Joes that tell people where to go. It's really funny. People who know me well know that my sense of direction direction is amazing. I mean, there's that word amazing, but it has to do with my direction, not my blindness. But if I go someplace once, I can go back there. I can tell people how to get there. So when we start this thing off, and the very first thing that people, the people ask me is how to get to the Peninsula Trail. There was something about that really tickled me, that they're asking me directions, and I give people directions all the time. I mean, it was real me, it was what I do every day.
Yeah, it's not much difference than when we're in an Uber and the driver basically turns to GPS because you're giving directions. So this was just a 1-minute commercial.
1-minute commercial, and then there's also a 30-second version of it floating around somewhere too. I actually, tell the truth, I have never seen the 30-second version. I've only seen the 1-minute version.
So how many days did it take you to do this?
3 full days of shooting to do it, and then 1 day was spent on wardrobe. And now there's another funny thing. Jeff, who's known me forever, will tell you that the first time he ever met me, I was probably wearing Bib Over-alls and a flannel shirt. I'm wearing Bib Over-alls and a flannel shirt in this ad. I show up at the place where they're doing all the wardrobing for the ad and everything, and I show up in my normal Bib Over-alls and my flannel shirt, and the wardrobe people, well, try this on, try that on, try this on, try that on, try this on, try that on. And when they're all done, finished, and done with the whole thing, I'm still wearing my Bib Over-alls, my flannel shirt, and one of their jackets. And I was trying to con them out of the jacket. It was a really super, super cool vintage denim jacket from probably the late 50s, early 60s. A really nice jacket in perfect condition. And it belonged to Wardrobe down in LA. And they said, no, we can't do that. And I says, oh, come on, no one would miss a jacket.
They didn't ask for the bibs, did they?
They did not. Matter of fact, you hear about people who get paid to take their clothes off, in different, people who have different line of work than you and I do. And they paid me to wear my own clothes, which I thought was really cool. So when they're shooting, you get an extra little ding in your allotment for you wearing your own clothes and shoes.
Oh, cool. I read in an article, I was reading the articles about this. I mean, I heard about the Subaru thing from Lori a while ago, when this was all going down. And I read in an article that they weren't looking for an actor in this. They wanted to find an original person that fits this bill. And I was wondering, did you have part in coming up with the script?
I didn't have any part in coming up with the script, so to speak, but I was really pleased with the people at Carmichael Lynch who asked me if I liked it or not. And there was a written script that they started off with, okay, and I've been told this happens a lot with ads, and they ask you to say it this way and then ask you to say it that way. Then they go through and do like you do and chop it all up and put it all back together to get the words that they wanted to sound the best. So that was one of the very first things I did, was read the script to see if I liked it. But a little bit of it is me. No doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Is people who know me well. It's funny because they sent out a casting. When ad companies are do this, they go to all the agents and they send it to the agents, and the agents send out casting calls to all their clients. And they were looking for a blind man, age 50 to 70, a little bit curmudgeonly, and 4 people gave him my name. Imagine that. They said, this is the perfect guy.
It was the age category, not the curmudgeonly, huh?
Oh, I'm sure of that. Yeah. It used to be you had to go, to a hotel somewhere, and everybody's, here, say these lines, and people would look at. Now they do it all over FaceTime, or Skype or whatever. So they FaceTimed me one day. They send you the lines ahead of time. So I'm doing the lines, and we're into this about 3 minutes into it, and I hear some guy in the background, just barely hear him say, "That's the perfect guy. Where'd you find him?" So I knew I had the job. That was fun.
I bet it was. So what was it like? You taking 3.5 days, 3 full days to do this. I know you had to have been restless.
George is a curious kind of guy. Okay, so out on the set, talking to people and different things. So one afternoon, I wander over to, I call it the stuff trailer. And these people, they have a whole little city that it takes to shoot these ads. It's just amazing, the amount of people, the amount of equipment. But I go over to this trailer, and it's this great big, probably 40-foot long gooseneck trailer behind a big truck. And in there is almost anything you need. An extra rock, you need an extra bush, you need a lamp post.
Oh, really?
You
Just
need a
just in
no
case.
parking. You need a no parking here to corner sign. I mean, this guy has a little bit of everything on this thing, and everything has a name and a catalog number on it. And it was one day at the end of the day, I was paying attention. They're on the radio, and the guy's saying, "I'm looking for orange traffic cone number 27. Someone checked out orange traffic cone number 27 this morning. It didn't return it." I thought, there's a guy that's anal.
Oh, wow.
He knows where orange traffic cone number 27 is, And they have, whole groups of people who, their whole job is to go in ahead of the shoot and police the whole area and get all the things out of the space that they don't want in the space and catalog where everything was, move it all aside. And then at the end of the day, their job is to go back and put all those things, picnic table. I mean, they moved a bunch of picnic tables out of this one area that they were shooting. And at the end of the day, the people had to go put the picnic tables back in, and they had to go run down the ranger for the park and get the key for the padlock, because they were padlocked to big hooks in the ground, the picnic tables were. And I says, well, they have people problems stealing those picnic tables? And then the ranger says, no, the wind comes through and blows them off. This is a big overlook right over, looking over the Pacific Ocean at Point Reyes. And he says, no, we got them padlocked down, chained down. He says, because the wind blows them off. And I said, they'll blow those big picnic tables away? And he goes, yeah, this is amazing.
Oh, that is something. No, when I was listening to it, I heard you say, take a left here, right here, or something like that.
Take a left right here.
Yeah. And it reminds me when we had that Uber driver and we went down to that town and we're coming back, and you're telling them the shortcut, don't take this way, then go this way. Robin Williams lives over that way, and every inch of the way, every elevation, that was all right there. So when I was listening to this, it was just right up your alley. That was exactly, that's George.
Yeah. Yeah, the one line that I know I contributed to it, because we were standing out on the bluff overlooking on this cliff, overlooking the ocean and everything. I says, if you listen real carefully, you can hear the whales. Well, whatever the other line was that we'd been saying, I'd said that about 50 times, and I thought, well, I'm going to change this up.
And they kept it.
So I got to tell you, the funniest thing, though, because George always does things now and then that are funny. In the very beginning of the ad, I'm sitting on a nice little chair right beside the wood stove, putting a piece of wood in the wood stove. And the young couple come in and go over to the map rack and pick a map out and say, are the peninsula trails on this map? Even grumpier than me guy that's behind the counter at the little general store, he just nods his head. He doesn't even say anything to him and shakes his head no. And that's when I say, no, you won't find the peninsula trails on that map. Come on, I'll show you. And then I get up out of my chair and walk out the door, pick up my cane, and I'm using Chris Park's telescoping cane, so it's sitting right on the shelf right beside me. So I stand up, pick up the cane, and telescope it out, and walk out the door, and they follow me out the door. Well, they got the store all propped up with all kinds of neat things to make it look like an old-timey general store. I'm sitting next to a potbelly stove, and there's shelves with all kinds of cool old stuff on it and everything. One of the props they had sitting on the floor by the door is this huge chainsaw. I mean, it's got a 42-inch bar on it. It's a monster chainsaw. So I just can't help myself. We'd shot this thing about 20 times, and one of the times I pick up my cane, and I take it one step forward, and I bend down, and I pick up this great big chainsaw, and I look right over at the couple, and I says, come on, follow me. And the guy, the director guy, he starts laughing. He goes, everybody wants to be an effing director. And he says, if we can get the guys out in the sound trailer off the floor and back in their chairs from laughing so hard, let's try this one a couple more times. And then later he said at lunchtime, he says, I don't know what's going to happen to that little piece of film. He says, but I'm sure it'll appear somewhere.
And that couple was thinking, we got to get him in the car with us?
Exactly. He says, and it was perfect too because they had no idea that it was going to, and it's the looks they had. He says, we're perfect. He says, you couldn't have trained them to have the correct response that good.
Well, that's kind of ironic. Carmichael Lynch is out of Minneapolis. That's where he came from. What a connection. No matter where you go, you know somebody.
Yeah, it was interesting. I had never met any of the people who worked there, but I have a whole bunch of friends in common with them, which was really fun.
Oh, that's great. Well, George, the commercial's out. I suppose you've been getting a lot of reviews on it and people commenting and just probably lighting up your social media network.
It is absolutely the most things I've ever seen come back to me on Facebook in my whole life. I thought one time when I got 50 things for my birthday, I was doing really good. This is just it dings about it dings. Yesterday, I bet you it dinged every 3 or 4 minutes. There was a little ding from somebody. It was really, really fun. I really loved how they portrayed blind people in it. I have not seen. I know that there's a lot of really grumpy blind people hidden in the
woodwork.
Yeah, and I'm sure one of them is going to jump out and say boo and say I hated that. But I haven't seen that yet. So
give it time. Give it time.
Yeah. And one of the funniest Facebook posts I got back from a friend of mine was she's blind and her husband sees, and they're sitting in the living room and she goes, "Oh, that's George Wurtzel on that ad." And he goes, "No." She goes, "Is too?" And she just heard my voice. She had no idea that I was on an ad or anything. So when they went over to the computer and Googled it, and lo and behold, there I am. It's George Wurtzel. But I thought it was really funny that they both know me, and he didn't think it was me, and she was convinced. Just from the voice.
She should have used your line from the commercial. Shh, listen.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Other funny thing is that when we get to the night forest shot there, Carrie tripping on the log wasn't in the script. She really did that when we're walking through there. They had these logs there that, had to, and I don't know how much, I really need to get someone to tell me really, we probably shot, probably spent 30, 40 minutes, maybe even longer. Me getting out of the car and walking over and them shooting my feet and my cane hitting the log and me stepping over the log. Probably shot. And so I'm going to guess there must be a little shot of me using my cane and going over the log and then her, tripping on the log. And what's really funny is after she trips on the log, then she puts her hand on my shoulder and she follows me down the path. As a poor helpless blind person. Sighted person, I'm sorry.
What an experience. What an experience. I mean, you've done so many different things. This is just another feather in your cap here to sit around the campfire and chat about.
Yeah. A little quick advertisement for Enchanted Hills Camp for the Blind, owned by Lighthouse for the Blind out of San Francisco. We were impacted by the North Bay forest fires pretty bad. We lost 20 buildings on the property. We did not lose the Tactile Art Center that I've spent the last 3 years putting together. And we ran our first turning class there with professional turner out of Northern California named Jerry Kermode 3 weeks ago now, I guess it's been, and had 8 people there. As many of my classes do, they tend to attract people from far and wide. We had a young lady from Australia who came to the class. We had David from Kansas City, Missouri came and took the class. Another guy, WW4B guy from Bend, Oregon came and took the class. And then two women took the class, which I always really like to see women getting involved in the craft and woodworking business and turning and that kinds of thing. So that was a great event. Keep your eyes and ears open for more turning events. There'll be more news coming forth. George Wurtzel is going to take turning woodworking with Wurtzel on the road, and we're going to take 4 or 5 lathes, and we're going to travel across the country and set up in different towns and do intro to wood turning things for blind people. So,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And my ad is, I'll see you in August.
There you go. WW4B in August, 2 weeks worth. Yeah, beginner's week for the first week and then an advanced class for the second week. So
good stuff.
We've already got, I think, 4 people already signed up. We take 8 people in each session.
And this is the 3rd year it'll be out there.
3rd year at Lighthouse. This will be about the 7th or 8th year for WW4B. So.
7th. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's a good chance for opportunity. And I was so excited to see that the wood turning thing came off because I knew that was an early one. End of January, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the first weekend in February. And it really was, for spirit-wise, it really was important for a big push for Enchanted Hills and Lighthouse, because it was the first event that happened back at the camp after the fires. So. And we are going to run the summer session this summer. Back to the 50s, my friends. We're putting up platform tents instead of our little cabins that we used to have they all went away in the fire. So we're putting up platform tents, and probably this year and next year both will probably run out of platform tents.
That's always good, though.
Brand new, really nice, all kind, mosquito netting and everything, so no bugs. Not like the old timey where you had to put a net over your tent, over your bed. So
good stuff. Well, George, thank you so much for coming on the Blind Abilities here and sharing a little bit about the Subaru commercial produced by Carmichael Lynch and starring none other than George Wurtzel himself.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, go shovel a little snow for me, would you? It's sunny. It's sunny and 60 here today, Jeff.
It's 50 degrees here today.
Wow.
Yeah, it's receding. It's receding like no other. And then we're supposed to get rain tomorrow night, and maybe snow. So I'll be shoveling.
Okay.
I hear you. Once again, this is George Wurtzel, the master woodworker and teacher out at Enchanted Hills Camp in Napa, California, part of the Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired of San Francisco. Thank you very much, George.
That's a take, guys.
It's always a great pleasure to catch up with George Wurtzel. Get to see him each August when WW4B goes on. We'll be teaching out there this August. So check it out. There's opportunities there. There's other woodworking things. Check it out on the Lighthouse for the Blind of San Francisco for the blind and visually impaired. That's in Enchanted Hills Camp on Veeder Mountain in Napa, California. Once again, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap
between the limited expectations and the reality of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, Blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.